and welcome, guys, to this week's episode of Well Met. And this week, of course, I have none other than the Bucharest champion with me from Team Tempo Storm. His name is Gaara. How are you doing, Gaara?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here, sir. And real quickly, can you give us a brief history of Gaara? Or actually, to be more precise, a brief introduction. We'll go to history following up that question.
I'm a member of Team Tempo Storm. I'm Gara. I have quite some success playing Hearthstone. Before I played Hearthstone, I played. So now I'm going into history as well. Well, I was former professional World of Warcraft player before I started playing Hearthstone, and yeah, I won quite a few different online events before I won my first major offline event in Hearthstone, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Could you give us also, like, before we go into history, could you tell us how you got your tag, Gaara?
That's a funny story because I was at the first Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship,
Mm,
and then the first manga of Naruto was released, so
mm.
it was like super hipster
Yeah.
and unknown. And I never, back then, I think I was 14 years old, and now I'm like 26 next month. So I never expected to become it popular, Naruto. So it was like very unknown, but now it's like super known and super
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, everyone asked me about Gaara.
It's a cool character, Naruto, though. Very interesting character. Yeah. All right. Going into the history question, how, like, could you give us a brief glimpse into your past? How did you get into video games and card games in general?
Well, my first game I played was, I think it was on the Atari, like super old computer. Like I'm basically playing video games since I'm born, and yeah, I always wanted to play something like whatever I could grab with my hands. I played. I played PlayStation One, PlayStation Two, all the Nintendo series, computer. Started Warcraft 2, StarCraft, Warcraft 3, all those games. CS, World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft for 7 years. I basically play for my entire life, and it's just natural that I stick to it and keep playing games. Yeah.
All right. So how about card games, though? Is it the same thing where it's like ever since you were born you could just play card games, or is it like Yu-Gi-Oh was the beginning of?
I think my first big card game was Pokemon. I had like
Mm.
thousands of Pokemon
Oh
cards.
wow. You
And
literally collected them all.
yeah, but it was like most of the time I played with my cousin. Like my cousin and I were like really good friends, and we played all the time cards together. Like not just Pokemon cards, also like normal cards. There were like all those different version of card games you could play with the normal cards,
Yeah.
like the poker cards.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then I transitioned to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters was also like a card game. Yeah, I played all those Magic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. How did you get into Hearthstone? Like a lot of players, for example, Amaz told me that he got into Hearthstone. He transitioned into Hearthstone directly from World of Warcraft. Was it the same for you, or was it just because you of your card playing background that you were like, "Oh, Hearthstone looks good"?
Yeah, I think I didn't transition because of the card game. I really just transitioned because of World of Warcraft. As I said, I played for 7 years. So, and I like all the Blizzard titles. I
Mm,
played Diablo, Warcraft, all those. And yeah, I'm basically playing every single Blizzard game. So, and I liked World of Warcraft a lot. So
yeah,
yeah, those are the reasons.
cool, cool. Um, Going into our next question, let's talk about the current state of cards. We'll go into Nax in a bit. Which card right now do you think best represents you?
Mm, freezing trap.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool, actually. Okay, so right now, a lot of people have been complaining about some classes. Like there are a lot of classes which are completely viable. We're seeing a lot of like warlocks, rogues, and pretty much anything in between. But there are two particular classes which just aren't getting as much love, with the exception of Amaz, which is giving one of them really a lot of love. What do you think Blizzard could do to make priests and paladins more viable?
First, well, they implement a really sick priest card, and they try it that way. I hope the priest will not be broken after Naxxramas
Oh
because
yeah.
they like the best card in the game right now with
Mhm.
Naxxramas. Well, that is of course one way, just to give them like a really strong class card. But yeah, another way would be to change the hero ability to make it a little bit better, a bit more viable, or just to nerf other classes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they will be indirectly buffed.
All right, like Amaz is particularly saying that sometimes you don't get anything to play on like turn 2 or 3, and
Yeah.
he was saying maybe they could just increase the HP cap for priest to maybe 34, so that you could basically heal yourself and be like a kind of warrior-esque feel to it. Do you think that should also be an avenue to explore, or do you think we should just wait till next, see how the new card impacts the game, and then decide?
Yeah, the biggest problem with Paladin and Priest are that all the cards are very situational. Like
Hmm.
you have many situational cards, and if you don't draw the right cards for the right situation, just other classes are stronger. For example, Druid just always has something which is playable, and that's not the case with Priest. That's why Priest is that weak. I don't know if just raising the HP cap would fix the problem. I don't think so, but yeah, we will see.
All right, and what do you think is the problem with paladins in particular? Like, do you think, like, I when I spoke to Ecop about this, he was like, there's not enough minions that paladins have, and that's like a big weakness.
Yeah, the thing about Paladin, first of all, Paladin has no 4 drop, no real turn 4 play. It's really tough. Like Paladin is also extremely weak against aggro decks. Paladin has nothing to deal 1 damage, for example.
Hmm.
Just Paladin is extremely weak against any type of aggro deck. It just gets overwhelmed too fast. And right now the meta game is that every deck that is played that is good in tournaments or on ladder is really fast. It's like either really fast or kill someone in 1 turn. Like the fast druid with the double force of nature, or the miracle rogue, the rush rogues, the zoo decks, and paladin will just not have a high enough win ratio to, yeah. So that's why paladin is too weak right now. And a paladin can't deal, let's say, with a priestess, like what's
Yeah.
her name? Paladin just can't kill creatures with 1 toughness, like a leper gnome, for example. That's a
Hmm.
huge deal.
That's interesting, actually. So, going to the next question. This is more about the pro scene in itself. What are the 5 pros right now that really stand out to you, like for you? Like they could be the best, they could be the most talented, they could even be unknown.
Hmm. People that stand out to me. I think Kit Kats
Hmm.
is one of them. Really top warrior player. Reels. I think I underestimated Reels a little bit in the past, but yeah, he's a really good player. I will not name anyone from Tempo Storm. That would be lame. Um, I like Impact, the guy who won King of the Hill yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard about him before ever, and he won 3-0 against Chaki.
Mm.
He's a really interesting character. Um, Colento, of course, very solid every season. Like I'm really good friends with him, and it's, like he's really consistent. Mm, Puffin as well.
Mm. I think that's 4, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's 5.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My counting is horrible. Going to another question specifically about the pro scene in general. Do you think that because now ESGN is well, there's no more fight night, there's no more like that. Do you think that maybe some other production houses could just step up to try and fill that void so we can have like a fight night or at least a team league or two for Hearthstone?
Yeah, I know that many like people are approaching me, inviting me for tournaments. Like there's going to be a big German invitational, and this is going to expand internationally to be also some sort of fight night. But like we are doing ourselves in the future. Like Reina did the arena invitational, and
Yeah.
yeah, we will make more tournaments like that. Yeah, I really hope that there will be like a major company or whatever. There's like OGN, of course. Uh,
Mm,
but yeah, like there's more and more tournaments coming up. Like also with the DreamHacks, there was DreamHack in Romania, then DreamHack in Sweden.
yeah.
Next month is DreamHack in Spain. So I mean, there's really like Deck Wars season one, season two. There's like plenty of tournaments. Then the Tavern Takeover
Mm,
tournaments. Like there's many new tournaments coming up. Like, but team league. I don't know. Well, I haven't heard about it yet. I think many are trying to make one. I don't
mm,
know how difficult it is. Well, it would be awesome, of course.
yeah. I think it might be a bit difficult due to logistics. I mean, with Fight Night, we saw that most of the episodes which would air, or all the episodes actually, would all be pre-recorded because they'd have to like fly everybody in for a couple of days, record an entire season, and then everybody goes their separate ways. So maybe that's a big issue. Maybe that's a big issue. It takes a lot of money to do that as well. Going to another question. Do you think that Hearthstone might be lacking in LAN events? I mean, sure, we just had DreamHack. We're gonna have another DreamHack next month, as you say. But other than that, are there enough LAN events really? Because everything seems to be online other than DreamHack.
That is actually a really tough question because for me, it doesn't feel like because like as I said, I just came out of Sweden
Yeah.
and in 2 days I'm going to France to the Numerical M House Cup. It's
Mm.
like also a big LAN event in France. Well, I hope there will be more of those. Like next month, I'm going to Spain.
Yeah.
I was like in Romania. Like from my perspective, I feel like yeah, I'm traveling a lot, at least like to different countries every month.
Yeah.
But yeah, there. Yeah, I hope there will be more. I don't know if it like if they'll because it's began like a few months ago with the LAN events, so it's still in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there will be more and more over time.
Yeah. Like, do you think that Hearthstone is just going to continue to snowball at this point? Like, did you expect it
Yeah,
to even be this big?
yeah. To be honest, I expect every Blizzard title to be big at
Mm,
some point, and then it depends on how much effort they put into the game. Like if they really care about making the game an esport or just to support it, bring out new content. Like if Blizzard would bring out new cards like every 2 months, for example, the game would snowball insanely.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's one thing. I think it depends on Blizzard, but yeah, like that it's available for iPads and stuff like that. It's a really huge deal as well.
Mhm.
I really expected it to be big, and I think it will be even bigger in the future.
Cool. Um, Gonna follow that question up about the cards. Do you like the way that Blizzard are just gonna be releasing maybe every year one big expansion full of cards, or do you feel that maybe they should do it more in a year, like maybe semi-annually or quarterly?
Yeah, I think it's better because it will get boring really fast. I think so. If they just release a few cards, just nerfing a few cards makes a huge impact into the
Yeah.
game. Like when they nerf Pagel or Thinkmaster, just a nerf of very few
Yeah.
cards. It's a huge impact of the game. So if they would just implement 2 or 3 new cards, it would just change the game so much. And if you always have to wait 1 year, I think it's too long time.
Mm.
Yeah, for new cards, and then they release like a huge amount of cards at once. I would prefer like half of the cards after half a year, something like that.
So like release in terms of booster packs, like here's a pack of maybe 30 cards or 15
Yeah,
cards.
yeah. Like I haven't played the next Ramas. Like maybe it will be like a really cool in-game experience
Yeah.
to fight those Naxxramas bosses. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but I never cared about all those fancy mechanics and stuff like that. But yeah, probably it's fun, I guess. They all like Blizzard is really known to focus on the casual crowd. So
Yeah. I just hope I can kill Mr. Bigglesworth.
yeah,
Yeah, it'd be really cool if you could hear Kel'Thuzad yell in the background, but never know. Bit of flavor, bit of flavor. Going to another question. This is just based on the current model that Blizzard are going to be using. Do you like the way they're going to be releasing it on a weekly basis, or do you think that maybe they should have released it in one go?
that's also a tough question. It depends on how if the cards will be like locked for tournaments.
Hmm.
Like if all the new release cards, like in MOBAs for example, when they release a new hero, he's banned from tournaments for at least 2 months.
Yeah,
So every card will be available for every tournament. So that's really broken. Like because one class will be OP for a week, something like that. Well, it's already like this that the meta changes very often,
yeah.
but this also involves new cards. So I personally would have preferred it if they would release all of them at the same time, so you can test around like what is the best. I don't know. Like this is just what I would prefer.
Yeah.
I know that many people completely disagree and like it that way.
Not everybody, man. Not everybody. You're not alone. Last week, Ardu, he also said the same thing about how it's just the meta will be impacted and skewed in one particular direction, and everybody will just be playing one thing for a week, and then the next week another thing, and it'll be a bit funny. But do you expect the tournaments will be like, no, you cannot use these cards, or maybe that they might be more open?
I hope so, but to be honest, experience has shown. For example, Peggle was really broken in tournaments where you could have just played it and it drew instantly cards in the meta where everyone played control decks, and they didn't ban Peggle from tournaments. The same with Thinkmaster. So that was like in the ESGN fight night. So I'm really worried about how they will handle this. Like this, I feel like the tournament organizers are not really experienced enough right now. Like for example in Sweden we played best of threes, which is also like a big mistake in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like even the semifinals on the main stage were best of threes. Yeah, that's like this is just about the format. This is not even going into the cards. So they will just probably allow all cards to be played, and I don't know. Like I'm a little bit worried about that.
All right, going to my next question. This is specifically about tournament formats. Everybody, and I mean everybody that I've interviewed so far, has said the same thing when it comes to the current, like the current state of tournament formats, which is Swiss, Swiss, Swiss. This tournament format is not good. We need to go to Swiss. Do you feel the same?
Honestly, I just saw a new tournament format and I'm super surprised and I really like them. I don't know the French people if they're just geniuses, but how it's going to be played out there is like there will be 8 players, like 6 invited players and 2 come from qualifications, with 2 group stages, best of threes. And there will be like a veto system. So both players have to call 3 of their 4 decks they they want to play with, and then the opponent player can ban one of the 3 decks.
Okay.
And I don't know how this system is called, but it's really good. So you can always ban the one deck you don't want to play against.
Ah, I like it. That's
That's
interesting.
yeah. It's the first time I see such a format, and I really like this. I like this more than Swiss.
Hmm.
Definitely, it's really good. And then in the 2 players who are advanced from the brackets, from the group stage, it's like everyone against everyone. The top 2 advance, then it's best of 5, and the finals are best of 7. So it's
Hmm.
really good system.
Sounds really good. It's a nice little twist. And going into this a bit more in depth, when I spoke to Frodan about this, he had some different ideas as well. He was like, of course, there was this particular idea, which for ESGN, it was basically like a best of 7, right? Where each other player could like veto one particular class, No, sorry, it was a best of five, and each other player could veto one particular class, and then whatever classes they're left with, they have to make decks for. But another interesting idea for mainly for constructed play at least, was that, for example, you're playing Shaman, right?
Yeah.
It's a best of five. You win the first two games with your Shaman deck, right? For the third game, you can't play Shaman. You have to choose another deck. So, do you think that something like this could be implemented, or do you think that it's like takes a person too much out of their comfort zone?
Maybe I don't know. That's really tough to say. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's too complex. I don't know. Maybe it's like too advanced. Like people should be able to keep playing the one deck they won with. I don't know. I like the veto system more, where you like if you don't
Yeah,
want to play against Shaman, you just ban Shaman,
no shamans.
and then if you lose like let's say 5 games against Hunter, so you did the wrong choice with
Yeah,
the wrong class. But if someone wins 2 games with the same deck, I think I don't like it. I don't like it. So,
okay.
like especially also like I had really good win ratios with ramp
Yeah.
because I was like really good with that deck. So if I would have won with my ramp and then I had to switch the deck, I don't even see reason why. Just because I'm too good with the deck or something. I don't know. I think it's bad.
Well, if you look at it from a viewer's, like a particular viewer spectator sort of
Oh,
way,
okay, that
then
makes sense.
yeah,
It's more
yeah. Otherwise, for
entertaining.
the player, it's a bit unfair. But it's like, well,
But
yeah,
on the other hand, like
yep,
when everyone played midrange hunter, so people could have just banned midrange hunter. Like most people would have banned midrange hunter, so there would be also like a
yeah,
huge variety of decks that would be
yeah.
played.
Yeah, and it's like, for example, you won't really see Miracle Rogues as much if a person doesn't want to see that, or hand locks, or zoo locks, or any of these particular things.
And that
Yeah,
and that would also like occur in best of fives or higher. And most tournaments so far are best of three, so that wouldn't also like work there because you have to win at least 2 games, right? With the
yeah,
same.
yeah. Yeah. I honestly also think the veto system might come into play in the near future as well. Yeah. Um, Going into the next question. This is for newbies in particular, and I've asked this to the last couple of guests as well. What do you think is more important, understanding of the game or good deck building? For newbies, not for mainly pro players, because I know that both are extremely
Understand.
important.
Understanding of the game,
Hmm.
100%, not even close. I mean, you can easily copy good decks from the internet. Like, it's everywhere on streams, deck lists. You can find good deck lists everywhere, so you don't have to come up with the. And there are really good decks. Like, if you copy a Miracle Rogue deck, for example, from the internet, or from Colento, let's say, you don't have to improve the deck at all. You just have to learn the deck, and then you will even reach Legend or higher Legend ranking. So, learning how to play the game is way more important.
Cool. And another question that a lot of newbies have been asking, and I've been getting the same answer like week in, week out. Hopefully, you'll give me a different answer. For a newbie that just has 1600 dust, which legendary should he craft first?
Leroy.
Damn it, man! Every week, same answer.
Every
Leroy.
week, yeah, because
Every week.
it can be played in too many decks.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I want to
Blame
like have
Blizzard.
a poster of Leroy in my background just as a bit of a joke, but yeah. Like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question I haven't asked anybody yet. Do you think Leroy is too powerful, or do you think it's in a really good place right now?
I was the only one who always said fuck that card. Like they should make it 10 mana because I don't know. Like
uh,
like also in the where hunters like they should just nerf Leroy in my opinion. The same I like I said this like 5 months ago. The 3 cards that have to be nerfed are like Pagel, Tinkmaster, and Leroy. The only card that is missing is Leroy so far.
yes, he's like been
It
dodging
makes
it.
it makes too many decks too strong. The
Yeah.
Miracle Rogue would be, oh my god, it would be so bad without Leroy. The
Hmm.
same with the Hunter. I mean, now that they nerfed Unleashed, Hunter feels really crappy when you play it. But if they would have just nerfed Leroy, a hunter itself was not the problem. It was the Leroy Unleashed Timberwolf
Yeah.
that does 27 damage, which is
Yeah.
too much. It's also like in Handlock, for example, it makes the game so random.
Yeah.
It really takes the skill out of the game. Those like even control decks, like Tides plays Leroy in Control Warrior. Yeah, as I said, Handlock was built to be a control deck, and you just put a random Leroy
Yeah.
into the deck. I just think it's wrong that
Yes.
every deck has this random OTK. Like
Yeah.
it's just stupid in my opinion.
Speaking of which, do you think that OTKs in itself should be made more difficult? Like, for example, the Leroy factor. Maybe they should like nerf Leroy, make it more difficult for OTKs to happen, or do you think that OTKs need to be there, like be more like easier to come by?
There could be there, but there should be harder. There,
A lot of messages, a lot of messages.
what is? I think they were for me.
Yep.
Yeah. I think OTK is fine, but it should require a few cards. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. This should be more difficult to, yeah, require more turns.
Yeah.
Like the old Alexstrasza OTK from Warrior. It
Mm.
always required like the late game. You needed the weapon. You needed the Alexstrasza. You need the combos. It's basically also OTK in a sense, but it's
Yeah.
really slow, and the game has many turns. But there's those aggro decks that kill you in 3 or 4 turns. My favorite deck right now is the Rush Rogue that can just beat you in 3 or 4 turns. You can basically do nothing. It's very skilled. The double, yeah, this is wow. How the game is right now, it's really against my. It's like the worst meta for me.
Yeah.
With Wild Growth, Double Force of Nature Druid decks.
Oh.
That is really like the incarnation of retarded.
Yes.
It's too fast. It's too random. Like you never like you have to basically play around 2 combos. If any minion is alive on the board till turn 8, for them turn
Oh
7
my
because they have
God.
Wild Growth opener, you will die. I don't know.
Wow. It's like I think that the Hearthstone team were trying to like push like initially the game was a bit too slow, one may say, when it first released the first few months. Then they started to try and push it to more aggro because I feel that they were trying to aim for a sweet spot where it's like we want diversity and we want a bit of a quicker game. But now it just seems like it's a runaway train, man. Like it's just getting quicker and quicker. I wouldn't be surprised in the future to even see like turn 2 or turn 3 like OTKs.
Yeah, honest. Yeah, I think it's the worst also to watch. To be honest,
Yeah.
like in the past, I wonder if people actually complained about those really slow control paladin against control druid matches that where people died to fatigue. I personally liked watching those.
Mm.
You can really see misplays also
Yeah.
in good plays, and people and casters could talk about the plays. But now people go 3-0 with aggro hunter or aggro paladin. Or, there's not much to talk about there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really bad in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that having just that diversity, like a mix, you don't want to see like every game being like super late game and every game being like super fast. And also now with the changes to the custom game modes where you actually have a timer. As per before, you could pretty much go make yourself lunch, come back, you'll still have time to make your move. But now with the timer, it's like what 1 minute 30 seconds, I believe, or is it 1 minute 45 seconds per turn? It's like you're forced to make a move.
But I'm actually surprised, and I'm really curious if the veto system will fix that. The reason why people are not playing slow control decks is mainly because of Miracle Rogue. Miracle
Yeah.
Rogue and Best of 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Best of 3 is, if you win your first game, you will probably win the Best of 3.
Yeah.
It's highly likely.
Mm.
And it's always the coin flip. Will people open with Miracle Rogue or with control decks? If they open with Miracle Rogue and you open with control deck, you lose. It's really
Yeah.
always a coin flip. If you open with control deck, they play Shaman, you might lose as well. It's always this thing. But now when you can ban, let's say, a rogue from the start, then you can always open with a control deck and he will most likely open with a control deck as well,
Mhm.
and then you have those aggro counter decks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes the game itself more interesting, but
Yeah.
bit more diversity in itself. Going to another thing, let's talk about the game features. Other than the upcoming spectator mode, what other mechanic or feature would you add to the game?
Maybe an implemented weekly arena tournament system,
Oh,
because
so similar to Warcraft's tournament system, like Warcraft 3, that is.
yeah, exactly. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, they know how to do that, right? So
Yeah,
it's not even that complicated. Because for pro gamers, arena will eventually be boring. Like
yeah,
people will not stream arena because they don't need the cards. There's no real reason to play arena.
yeah,
So if they would implement a tournament, even the popular streamers would play arena, and it will be more interesting. You know.
yeah. And like for lower players, like for example, for pro players, maybe they can have a custom lobby. You invite maybe 16 players. There's an auto-generated bracket, and then you just play your way through the bracket itself. But for newbies, maybe they could just make it so that, hey, you guys want more, like maybe like unlock a new hero portrait, for example. So, uh, if, for example, instead of like the normal druid hero, you can see like the Tauren druid. I can't remember his name from World of Warcraft. Or like instead of Uther, you can have
Yeah,
maybe somebody else, like a Draenei paladin or something like that.
there's so many cosmetic
Mm.
changes you can do. You know.
Yeah,
Or
or
make it like
yeah.
instead of a golden shiny card, maybe a silver shiny card or something like that.
Sparkly.
Yeah,
Uh,
super sparkly.
yeah, yeah. So going into the spectator mode, is there any particular feature that you would like seen implemented into the spectator mode itself? Maybe odds, maybe seeing an opponent's deck. It could be anything.
Maybe pause, something like that. Like when you really wanna, or yeah, go over the place, or recording, so you can
Oh,
record.
like to rewind the game
Yeah.
itself. Ah, that would be pretty cool.
Then it would be easier for the YouTubers. There's like a lot of YouTubers also asking me about footage, like fraps, if I would can record some games. But if there would be like a implemented system in the spectators mode, they can just make documentate the games afterwards in a video, would make their life easier for everyone.
Yeah, especially if they're doing like guides and such, they could be like, well, here's where the game went wrong for X player, or here's where the comeback happened, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me have a follow-up question to that. For YouTubers and new players, like, could you run us through what sort of software you use for recording, or like, do you use Fraps? Do you use OBS for recording?
I used to use Fraps, but I don't need it now because OBS has so many cool features.
OBS for the win. It's awesome.
OBS for the
Yeah.
win,
Yep.
indeed.
Mm,
Yeah, I use Photoshop, After Effects, Sony Vegas. I used to make like a lot of videos for World of Warcraft, so I'm used to that.
nice.
But yeah, for my deck techs, I use OBS and Sony Vegas. That's enough.
Mm.
If I want to make a fancy screenshot, I use Paint and Photoshop. But
Do you have any problems with the quality though, like of the recording quality that is of OBS, or do you think that it's as good as Fraps? Because like in my personal experience, I found that even though while Fraps has a lot of problems, one being that oh we're gonna separate all the videos into these big chunks, we're gonna like have to force you to run it through like different converters to make them smaller and such. The quality though would always be better, at least for me.
yeah, that's true. But in OBS, I can also, if I want to have my webcam on, maybe it works also with Fraps, but I haven't figured it out. When I
Hmm.
record with Fraps, I only have the in-game footage
Yeah.
and the audio. But for the Hearthstone videos, I always need the
Yeah, it
need
makes
people to see
like
me.
yeah, yeah. I'd say that OBS makes post production a lot easier. Like you can do whatever,
Yeah.
like you don't need to edit a lot of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, if you could add a card to the game, it could be a legendary, a minion, a weapon, spell, or secret. What would it be and what would it do?
Mm. it would be. I think something a 7 drop,
Mm.
a neutral 7 drop, or 8 drop with really good stats.
So what would it be like?
Or
Gaara of the
X.
Sand, like summon sandstorms?
Yeah, sure. Does like 5 damage to all opponents.
Yep. Has like
And
a shield, you can't attack it.
sure, yeah, it has Divine Shield. When you die, it comes back with Divine Shield and does the same shit again.
Not broken.
No.
Totally legit. Blizzard
Common.
is saying.
Common
Yep.
card.
Yep.
Free to play deck.
Yeah, man. Like 16 billion dust just to make. So all those dust farmers better start farming. Yep.
No, no, no. When you install the game, it's the first card you get.
Oh yeah, yeah. Exactly. That's what makes it fair. Everybody has it. Oh man, imagine mirror matchups. It's going on forever. All right. Are you there? Hello? Ah, the call dropped. Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah. It was like a little lag spike or something.
Yeah, yeah. Your web camera is off.
I have to recall, I
Uh,
guess,
oh, okay.
if you need it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Alrighty. One sec. It's just there we go. Oh, gonna have to wait a few seconds and all right, so yeah, it's like mirror matchups would last forever. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff indeed. Um, let's see, going on to the next question. Just one moment. Because I think, oh yes, let's talk about BlizzCon for a second. Are you excited about the way Blizzard are handling BlizzCon, like the big tournament, and do you think that the qualification format is good?
It's a very, very complex format overall. Hmm. My thoughts on that. I think it has its pros and cons. I think one con is that as many players from the Asian region qualifier as from the European region, because there's so many more good players in Europe. Like when you compare it um,
Like globally, you're saying?
globally, yeah, I think the ratio is not. It looks fair because it's the same amount from each region, but when I mean, if you just inform yourself, it's crazy. Like most good players are just from Europe, like overall.
Yeah.
Just when you look at the statistics, and when there's like only 4 players advancing from each region,
Hmm.
and then yeah, the best 4 Asian players. I don't want to be like offensive or anything,
Yeah.
but it's for the World Championship. I think that's unfair. I
Hmm.
mean, you also have to live there, so it won't be the best 12 players or 16 players from the world
Yeah.
in the finals. I'm 100% sure of it
So,
because of the system format.
so you're saying that we might see an issue which happened during StarCraft in 2012, where it was like you only
Yeah,
had like 3 or 4 Koreans, and those 3 or 4 Koreans just destroyed everybody, went to the finals.
exactly. Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the first time I heard this StarCraft Tour example. I think it will be exactly like that. Yeah. Just that it will be like vice versa.
Mm. This
That
with the
the
Europeans destroying
yeah, that the
everybody.
Asian players
Yeah.
will be like
Yeah.
yeah, weaker players.
Well, there's of course the final boss man, Strife Crow, so
But
still gotta,
but
yeah.
he's from NA.
Oh, he's coming from NA region. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the top players from Asian region would be
Like
like
a
us
Maz, yeah.
and Masan.
Yeah.
And I heard that Masan didn't even qualify, not yet.
Yeah.
Like it was this qualified tournament, and yeah.
Yeah. You never
Well,
know, he might get in through the Lost Call tournament. I mean, that's like the very final chance for people to get in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which I
think
also,
Europe
Yeah.
the Europe qualification matches, the pre-qualifier tournament, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath, man. Like everybody will just be trying desperately to get those spots. All
So
right. Yeah.
I don't like that format.
Do you think it should be maybe six Europeans or like possibly six Europeans? Because I think anything more than six might be a bit too skewed.
Some like a mix, that would represent the regions, maybe five NA, something like that. Six, but the European should be like have at least one or two more. Yeah, that's guaranteed. Just too many good players from Europe. And yeah,
Hmm.
are there like even four pros from the Asian region? I really wonder.
Oh, we're about to find out soon, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe it'll be the opposite way, where it's like, oh my god, every, oh my god, that would actually be a really good storyline and interesting. Like suddenly you get a surprise, and like
Yeah.
everybody's just shocked and appalled. Like, wow, did not see
Everyone
this coming.
was hyped in the China versus EU
Yeah.
tournament, and yeah, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Wah wah. Uh, all right. Going into my final question, which is, what is the future for you?
For me,
Yeah.
I, I hope I can stick to play Hearthstone and
Mhm.
be in Tempo Storm, go to the tournaments. Well, it's my job right now,
Mhm.
so I want to continue this. It's like I'm having a lot of fun. Like I'm also trying to focus more on making more YouTube videos, growing my own YouTube channel, and yeah.
So, like, do you want to also evolve more into a personality, or do you want to just be strictly a player for now?
No, I just want to be, yeah, build an audience. Like I used to do a lot of charity, and when you have like a bigger audience, you can do more good stuff.
Yeah.
And this is like one of my ultimate goals. Like I'm working also together with Athene, and I'm really happy that I have this opportunity right now because I'm somewhat popular, and that I might as well like do good things in life. So that's my goal. But on the other hand, I kind of have to earn money to stay alive.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I'm
it's
really
it's a
happy.
problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, all right, so okay, really quickly though, like this is normally where I wrap up the interview, but really quickly you touched upon charity. Nimsh, I asked him the same question, or specifically Reddit asked him the same question. Do you think that players should like move more into charity stuff, like maybe have like a monthly charity tournament of sorts where the winner gets to donate it to his charity of choice? Or do you think that maybe that's something that needs to happen like after BlizzCon once Hearthstone is more set in stone?
that's actually I would join that, of course, but like monthly, maybe it's too much. Like people are really busy. Like those
Yeah,
programs are really busy. If you could do that, yeah, sure, good idea. Another thing is like not every pro player plays Hearthstone for a living,
yeah,
so that would like interact with their lives or their
yeah,
jobs or whatever.
yeah,
So it has to be people who really don't have to care so much about money.
yeah,
Those, not just, it should be like a charity event for famous people, like people like Kungen, for example,
yeah,
and Trump, Hafu, like such players should be more playing in such an event more than just ties or people who don't really make much money with Hearthstone or just really good at the game. Yeah, should be like really a charity event with popular people because more people would also watch,
yeah,
also
yeah,
donate. So yeah, that's how you have to make it.
yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Exactly. Maybe you can slip in a few like a little bit unknown players, just to give them some love. Because a lot of the time,
Yeah,
people are just like surprised that, oh, this guy's so good. Why have I not heard of him before?
it's a
So,
good thing about King of the Hill. Like when some new guy comes, won the qualification, then he has his time to shine. It
yep,
could be like another tournament.
exactly. So yeah, do you have any shout outs to give?
Yeah, I want to give shout out to Team Tempo Storm, Reynard especially. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, he believed in me. He watched some past broadcasts and he was like, yeah, really impressed by my play. And without him, I wouldn't be known today. So big shout out to him and shout out to all the people I met in Sweden. I really love. Like that's the great thing about Hearthstone. Like the pro players, we're like really friends in real life when
Yeah.
we meet each other, even though we're like enemies. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
elements will destroy you.
Shout
Yeah.
out to all the people who watch my stream. Like I haven't been streaming that much lately, and people keep asking me. I want to stream more. Yeah, I will stream more. Yeah,
All right. Cool. Cool. And where can we follow you and on stream and of course your Twitter?
yeah. Twitch TV / Garbage Shaman, um, Twitter.com/Garbage Shaman, YouTube.com/Garbage Shaman, Facebook.com/Garbage Shaman. I think that's it.
For a second, I was like, "Wait, do you keep another social media like way at the back? Like, is that your
Reddit.
org or something, or like Google Plus way in the back?"
Tumblr. That's
Yeah. Well, you can follow us, of course, at ongamers_com, and you could also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ongamerscom, and you can follow me at the Mishking on Twitter. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this week, and well met. Good luck in France, man. Win it for Germany, man. As a fellow, ich bin Berliner. It's all
oh,
good. Yep,
I will.
yep. All right, and guys, I will see you next week. We have well met Gaara, so.